Started. Okay, good evening. So we have a little bit of a different format tonight. We actually did this at a Super Saturday on Saturday, and then Amy had mentioned it too. And I think it's a really great idea because you guys probably always have questions, but maybe you are too shy to ask, or you don't know what question you have until somebody says something that will spark like, oh my gosh, I have been having this question and I forgot about it. So yes, Megan, thank you very much. Let's start there. One of our Monate sisters, Courtney Wallace, her mom just passed away today. So if you guys can actually be in prayer for her, that would be amazing. And actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to pray really quickly and we can just all be in prayer together. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for this opportunity just to come together as a community, as sisters. Lord, I just pray that you would lift Courtney and her family up as they are going through a very trying time. I honestly cannot even imagine. Lord, I just pray that you would give them strength, courage, and peace to get through the coming days, the coming months, the coming years, and that you would give those that know and love them the most the courage and the words just to say the things that they need to hear, to be there for them in the way that they need to be there for them. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, guys. And thank you for the reminder, Megan. I appreciate that. Okay, so we are just going to have a Q&A session, like a round table discussion, if you will. So what I want you guys to do, and I'm actually going to read these questions. And so we have a panel of speakers, a panel of leaders who have been there, done that. I don't know if you guys saw my post on Team Believe, but we've all seen success, but we've also had struggles. And so we want to be able to answer any questions that you have. A little caveat, it's only business related. You guys, if you have product questions, this is not the place for it. Reach out to your upline, pop it in Team Believe, but we really want to spend this time talking about the business. Any question that you have in relation to the business, we want to be able to get that answered for you. So I hope you guys have had some time to think about that. And you guys can go ahead and start popping those in the chat if you would. Literally any question, you guys, there's no question that's a dumb question. And I'll be honest, if you have that question, somebody else probably has that question. Or if it's something that maybe you have been too afraid to ask, be vulnerable and step up and ask, because chances are somebody else is afraid to ask. And by you going first, that is going to give them the courage to ask the questions that they need to ask. We have all had questions at some time in some way, shape, or form. I still have questions. I've been doing this, it'll be 6 years this month. I still have questions. I'm not shy about asking those questions. I'm a constant learner. I'm always learning. I don't act like I know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. I love to learn, and I learn from people all the time. It doesn't matter their rank. It doesn't matter how long they've been in the business. So we can all still continue to learn. So if you guys would pop your questions in the chat. Now, don't you all type it once. I don't see any questions coming in. And if you guys don't ask questions, it's going to be a very short call, and we want to be able to answer your questions. Okay, so I have a question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the question, and the panelists, the leaders that you know who you are, if it's something that you feel comfortable answering, something that you're passionate about, please just unmute yourself and you can respond. And then if somebody has something to add to that, you can add to it. So our first question is from Kristen. And she said, our team is focusing on MPs this month, especially with Smart Start restarting. What's a preferred method or language to use in reach outs, particularly those who haven't tried the products yet? Does somebody want to give that a stab?
I will, Stephanie, or actually let Tammy go first.
Kim, go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh my God, you go.
Okay, so what I was going to say was I was looking for something today for one of my market partners, and it is the Derek Roth. It's the video of his reach out language. It is fantastic. I don't know if it's resale language, but I was looking for it and I only could find the one he does a lot in his vehicle. And I just have that picture in my mind. But if we can find that video, I can bump it back up into Anchor, but it is truly probably the best retail language that I have ever used. It's sincere, it's not salesy. People have said that when they use his retail language, like their market partner acquisition, their VIP acquisition, I've heard upwards of like 40 to 50%, greater. So I don't have any specific verbiage. I have it written down somewhere, but I would have to go look it up. I literally would have to go find in my notebooks. Tammy, do you want to add to that? Are you familiar with that?
I am. And basically what he does, and I know a lot of people want specific verbiage. We're reaching out for market partners, and there is no one script that works. There's not one. But what I do like about his is that he puts it out there that you're vulnerable, you're reaching out, you're nervous about talking to them because or you want their opinion. I know he does a lot of that, asking for their opinion to look at the business opportunity to see if it's a good fit or if you have time to talk. What I was going to say when I raised my hand was, I feel like, so the question was, how do you talk to people maybe if they haven't even tried the products? I was someone that never tried the products. I heard about the opportunity one time and then the next day signed up after a conversation about it. And I feel like you have to be a good listener. You have to know the person that you're talking to, so you're not just throwing up all over them. And for me, I like to really find out, what does that person need in general, because there are times when the conversation just lends itself to that, or somebody asks me, or it starts with the product. But if you are specifically, because the question is like, everyone is really now, because of Smart Start, focusing on sponsoring. So it's finding out not what it's going to do for you, but it's finding out, how can Monat help that person? What need do they have? Whether it's finances, whether it's personal growth, whether it's community, finding out what that person needs and wants and desires determines how you reach out to them. How are you going to solve their problem? And so I think, honestly, if it's just natural human conversation of how you're going to talk to someone. So reaching out and saying something like, I don't know if this is going to be a good fit for you. And I'll use an example. I met a lady that had just recently gone through a divorce. It's been a little bit over a year ago. We were meeting for lunch, and she just basically told me everything and what she wanted and what scared her. She goes, I lay in bed at night wondering how I'm going to pay the bills, how I'm going to provide for my boys, because her ex wasn't providing anything now, nothing. And so when I went back to talk to her about it, because it laid heavy on my heart. So I was just genuine in how I reached out to her about, this might be a good fit for you because I know it can do X, Y, and Z, right? From my personal experience, I've seen it. And that's what started the conversation. And so I think a lot of times for me personally, I want to know how I can connect with them, and what I have in Monat can be fill a need that they have.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
Okay. So I think it's super important to, one, personalize your reach out. So nobody, I know no one likes the hey girl. I'm sure no one does the hey girl, right? I hope no one does the hey girl. Okay, so it's super important to personalize it. So before you reach out to them, maybe scroll their page just for a couple seconds. Make sure they didn't just have a death in the family. Make sure that, things are upbeat, maybe mention their children, things like that. Just bring it into them. And also let your personality shine through on your reach out. Whether it's text reach out or whether it's voice reach out, let your personality shine through. So I'm a jokester. Those of y'all that know me, I love to joke. And so when I do my reach outs, honestly, I try to pull at heartstrings, but also because these people usually know me at least a little bit, I joke around. So like you know how people say, I'm not sure if you saw me post on social media. Well, in my reach out, I say, I'm not sure if you saw a post or 100 of mine about what I'm doing, but you know, like that comes through. You have to let your personality come through. If it comes through, they're going to be more likely to respond. And it can come through on a text. You know, it doesn't have to just come through on voice text. I know that we all like say you should be reaching out by voice text. If you reach out by voice text and they don't actually click on your voice text, next option should be to reach out to them by a text message. Okay, that's one thing. If they're not reaching out, if they're not, I was just telling Tammy and Stephanie, sometimes I worry when I send a voice reach out. I know I don't like to click on things now because I'm afraid it's spam, you know? And so if someone sends me something, I text them back like, is this really you? And I even joke around, okay, how did we meet? You know, to just verify that that's them. But honestly, how many of us right now are worried about clicking on something? So if you don't get a response from it, send them a text. That's my words of advice.
I love that. Thank you. Amy, did you have anything you wanted to add? Because I know, you know, you're really good at like cold message reach outs.
So just kind of piggybacking on what Becky said too, is when I do cold market, I also scroll their page and I'll say like, hey, Stephanie, I saw that you live in, you know, I say my message thing, but I saw that you live in Chicago. I also live in Chicago, or I saw that you live in Ohio or whatever. I try and make it seem like I actually did look at them. I'll even say like, I noticed your beautiful smile, you know, connect to them. But back to the original question, which was, if you haven't tried the products yet, this comes back to what I tell people too. First of all, we're all humans, and feel, felt, found. So I did not try the products. I tried the samples once and then I joined. I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't want to know anything about it. I was ready to do it. But when I talk to people and they say like, I don't know, I haven't tried them yet. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. And then I found that there's a 30-day money back guarantee, or I found that my friend had been using them for a year or whatever it may be. And this is also when it's really important to pull in that third party, whether it is just your friend who joined the same month as you, or it is a friend who's been in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, just as that validation of, okay, so like maybe she just joined, she doesn't know what she's doing yet, but this girl who she pulled in has been doing it for 6 or 9 months and knows the products. And it's just, you just kind of need to have that second person to kind of back off or back you up. And it also, something I just did it right before this call. I said to a girl who rescheduled my connector call today, I said, no big deal. Let me just make sure my friend can hop on with me too, because she really knows this business. And I'm not saying that my friend knows more than me or knows less than me. It's just showing that there's a community and you're not there by yourself. And then after the connector call, I always say, just so you know, when we talk to one of your friends, I'll be on the call too to help you. And just show them that they're not alone either. So when we're all restarting, I think it's smart to just kind of all go back to how you felt that first day. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. And then I found out that I have this huge team or all of that. So I think that's a big one, is just to kind of go back to what everyone's saying and relate to where they are and accept their feelings. If they're scared, if they're nervous, if they failed before, if they don't know anything about products, we've all been there before. So that's my advice for that.
Yeah, that's great. And I agree. And you guys, if you've never used Feel, Felt, Found, you can literally use that for anything. You can use it for your husband, for your kids. You can use it for any objection that anybody throws your way. So if you don't utilize that method, I would encourage you to write it down, practice it. I mean, you could throw me an objection right now and I could do Feel, Felt, Found immediately, because it just becomes second nature. It becomes part of what you do. And I want to echo everything that they said, is it's about that genuine connection. So even if you're going to send a cold message, or if you're sending a message to somebody that you know, you still want to find a way to relate to them, to connect to them on a human level, right? Not just throwing a bunch of words at a stranger. You want to find a way to connect to them on a human level, and then to give them the out. Like I see that we're both from Texas. I see that you're a boy mom. I saw that you posted about you were stressed out about going back to work because your kids are being homeschooled. I have an opportunity that I think could help with that. Would you be open to taking a look? If not, no big deal. Right. So it's going to be different for everybody because you're relating to them, and everybody that you're talking to has a different story or is a different person. They're in a different situation. So that's all great feedback. Thank you all so much. Does anybody have anything they want to add? And you know what? You don't even have to be on the panel. If you have a comment or something you want to add, feel free.
One other thing I was going to say that I don't think anyone really touched on was if this person comes to your mind and you just haven't yet talked to them, don't be afraid to tell them that. And Derek Roth does talk about that and say like, hey, I thought of you because, and if you lead with a compliment, most people are going to be open and receptive to hearing what you have to say. At least they may not say yes and join your team, but at least you've planted the seed. That was all.
Yes, you're right. Thank you so much, Candace. Okay, awesome. It's good stuff, y'all. Okay, Taylor asked, how do you help people set up a launch party over Zoom? Do you set up an event or just have them invite with a Zoom link and schedule it? And let the MP, she's got like, oh, okay, and let the MP do all the inviting. So I can kind of touch on it and then go ahead, Megan, go ahead.
So what I typically do, and I'm kind of tweaking this a little bit, so it might be a little bit different for me moving forward, but when I have a new market partner do a launch party, I'm usually trying to get their group going and have them start their own group. If they don't want to start their own group, that's going to be a different story that I can talk about in a minute, or somebody else can. What we've done in the past for some of our new market partner launches, and what we've found that works better, is if the new market partner that's doing all of the inviting does all of the posting. So there's a new market partner sample funnel group. I think that's the right name, Candace. And we can drop a link to it in Believe as well. But it just has all of the start off posts. It has everything that you need to kind of get the engagement going. It's got polls, it's got quizzes, it's got drop your, like, what is your hair type like in a GIF? And you kind of go through that. But when you go to actually do the launch party, you schedule it in there, and then you can actually go live on Facebook from your Zoom account. Stephanie, if you can make me a host, I can share a screen if you guys want to look at it now. Otherwise, we can do it another time, and I can do a training on how to go live from Zoom into your Facebook group, whatever y'all prefer.
I think you should have separate training just so that people don't have to scroll all the way through to get it. So
okay, I can do that.
I think that'd be better.
Yeah, it's super, super easy. Let me actually just do it really, really quick just to kind of show y'all, and then I'll do a separate tutorial in Believe, just so you guys can see it. All right, so y'all can see my Zoom, right? Or my account?
Yeah.
I hope. Okay. And I don't know if it's going to let me do it now that I'm sharing. See if I can go back. Okay, so can you see this up at the top with pause share, annotate, new share? Can you all see that or no? No? All right, I am just going to have to probably do it a different way, and I'll drop it in Team Believe. But essentially, there's a more button. If you are the host of the Zoom, there's a more button that's got 3 little dots on the bottom right, like where all the controls are for your Zoom account. You click on that, and then you can just click live on Facebook, and you type in the name of the group of where you're trying to go live, and you can stream your Zoom directly to there. So you and the new market partner will go live together in your Zoom account. That way you can do like a dual live, and then you just stream it into your group from there. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys.
Yes, I love that. And Taylor, I know for me personally, I do it both ways. So, and it just depends on the market partner. So some people don't want to mess with Facebook, but what I prefer, my preferred method is to do exactly what Megan said, have all the posts, do a Facebook event, and then, or a Facebook group. And there's a couple different ways you can do a group or an event, and there are different reasons for each. But then when it comes, so you have all your posts leading up to the actual live, I prefer to do the Zoom link and then also post the Zoom link and allow people to get on the Zoom, because not everybody has Facebook. And so you're really killing two birds with one stone, because you're allowing people that don't have Facebook to get on the Zoom link, and then you're streaming that Zoom into the Facebook group for people that are on Facebook, and then also for people that can't get on live and they can watch it later whenever they have the opportunity. So hopefully that answers your question. If not, feel free to unmute yourself. And
One more thing real quick about that group Megan was talking
Can I
about.
ask a question?
Yeah, 1 second. I created that group, but I am in the process of updating it because that was before, I know it was before wellness. I think it may have even been before skincare.
Skincare is in there, just not a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I am in the process of updating it to make it a little more easy to understand too.
awesome. Thank you. Did somebody else have a question?
I had a question. That Zoom streaming, do you have to do it into a group page, or can you do it onto a main account for those that don't have a group page?
You can do it
on
anywhere on Facebook. I think you can actually do it on YouTube also.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're a YouTuber. I am not a YouTuber. I don't want to be a YouTuber. But yes, that's a great question. Did anybody else have anything to add to launches? No. Okay, awesome. Okay, the next question. Sorry, I'm scrolling through there. Okay, Patricia asked, what is the best way to approach and present to a stylist or a barber? I have zero expertise in this area. Does anybody want to chime in?
I'll start, and if anybody wants to add in, they can. I just had this conversation. I did a three-way call with Kyle Kimbrough last week, and with my prospect, that was what they answered. They were like all gung ho and wanted to go after stylists and barbers. And Kyle said the same thing. He goes, I'm going to tell you exactly what my wife said. They are the hardest person to go after, and don't do it unless it's unless they are open and willing to listen. I wouldn't make that your first target and your reason for going into this business thinking you're going to get a lot of stylists. If you do approach them, just ask them if they're open to hearing more about the opportunity, because you don't know what they've heard, what their experience is. I do know, I feel like now more and more of them are seeing their customers come in talking about it. But I've had experiences myself. I've signed up stylists, but it is a different way of going about it, and it's not as easy as you think it might be, because we think it's obvious, right? It's a great fit for them, but sometimes they don't see the opportunity like that. So I feel like if you are going to present to a stylist, it's not just interrupt their day, it's make an appointment. Do not give them samples. A stylist does not get samples. You will take products to your stylist, in my opinion, if you're wanting them to try them out. And then I really feel like, especially just because it's that industry, you need to connect them with another, when it comes to the point of, yes, they're interested and they want to hear more, you need to get them on the phone with a stylist. They don't want to hear from a former kindergarten teacher about how these hair products can change their clients' lives, you know? So I really feel like you have to connect them with another stylist within the business that you know, that's on your team, that they can ask questions, because they will ask difficult questions that you don't normally get from other market partners that come in.
Yeah, I agree. And too, like, they think that we don't know what we're talking about because we're not professional, right? So we've only been washing our hair for 48 years in my case, you know, but we don't know anything about hair. So connecting them with somebody that can speak their language. If there is anybody on the call who is actually a stylist, or maybe I thought I saw somebody comment, feel free to unmute yourself if there's anything that you would like to add to that.
I think, is that Lacey Trujillo?
I thought I saw her.
Yep, that's me.
Lacey,
Tammy!
what are you?
Hey guys. Yeah, no, Tammy really did hit all of those really important points, and she's exactly right. Getting them on the phone with another stylist, if you really want to,
I hate to say this, but go after stylists is going to be super important, because not only have they probably heard some things or maybe tried it themselves and didn't use it correctly, it's a different business model. And they're not going to see the 50% retail that, or the profit from these products retailing it like they normally would, versus the 15 or 30% profit they do with money. So that looks smaller to them. So really explaining to them, or even having a stylist explain to them how the commissions and all the compensation plan is so different, how it adds up, the bonuses and all of that, that's going to be really important, because even me as a stylist, talking to other stylists, I have a hard time trying to get this across to them and explaining to them how much more money and potential there is with this business, as opposed to just their 50% profit with a $12 shampoo or an $18 shampoo. So the numbers look different, but if you can get someone on the line with them to explain how much more is there, that will really help you if you're talking to them about the business side of things. But yeah, other than that, Tammy, I think you did an excellent job explaining that.
Great feedback, Lacey. Lacey, one more question. Jacqueline asked, would it be beneficial to give a borrow bag or full-size products?
If someone walked into my salon and handed me 5 samples, I would not even try them. I would honestly recommend either sending a borrow bag if you know the person a little bit, or you know somebody who goes there, you have a little bit more of a relationship with them, but don't expect them to come back full. Don't expect them to come halfway full. They're going to use the heck out of those products. So you might as well go into it knowing that you're going to gift an opportunity to somebody with full-size products so they get the full effect, and make sure that you are explaining how to use these and how different they are. Otherwise, you're not going to get the best results back or best feedback back from them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you were on. That was perfect timing.
Can I just, I don't know if this is an ad, and Lacey, please correct me if I'm wrong. What I've kind of been doing in this Dayton area is kind of bouncing around to different stylists to get my hair done myself. And I bring my own products to have them use on me. I usually try and message them on Instagram or something like that ahead of time. But that way, like, I'm going in to get my hair done from them. I'm paying them as a client, and I'm saying, hey, use my products and try it on me. That way they can feel it right then while I'm there. I can answer any questions about how it's different and stuff like that. I can tell them to put the Rejuvenique oil in the bleach, which they're all like, oh my God, you want me to do what? So, but yeah, that's kind of how I've been helping. It's not really worked yet, but that's, my hopes.
Yeah, no, and that's great feedback, because I switched stylists probably maybe in August, and it was the first time I went to her, and I always take my products, and her first reaction was what she had heard about them, obviously all the negative stuff, right? And so every time I go back, I continue to take my products. Now I've been referring some of my friends to her that are on the products, and she's always amazed at what their hair looks like. And so the last time I went to her, which was last week, she started asking questions. So sometimes it's a slow process because they have been fed this information and they don't do the research for themselves. So they just think negatively about it. So I love that you're going around and taking your products. I always take my products, and I promise you guys, in the event that I don't take my products, my hair, I have to wash it the next day. And I mean, I hate doing that because I'm like, oh, I got a nice blowout and now I have to wash my hair, and that's not fun. And I was telling some of the girls over the weekend, I go to a blow dry bar a couple times a month. And even when I go just to the blow dry bar, I also take my products. So even if I either wash my hair before I go, or I take my products and they use my products, and they've never once complained. They don't have a problem with it at all. So thank you guys for that. Okay, let's see what we got going on in here.
Stephanie, can I pop in one more time really quick?
Please do.
So I've talked to Lacey about this a lot. And I kind of want to expand on what she said and just the question in general. You have to remember that a stylist and a barber are still humans. They have families, they have things going on, they might be in debt, they might be rich, you never know. And you want to treat them, if you are truly going after, like, this is a stylist, I am going after them. First of all, don't go after them. They're humans. Okay. So this isn't like a cat and mouse game, but you have to, if they're stylists and you know they're stylists, you have to treat them differently. They don't see this vision. You can't be like, oh my gosh, you're a stylist, you're going to be a millionaire. That's not how it works. You wouldn't say that to a mom with 3 kids in her arms, right? So you have to approach them the same way too. When you find out that they're a stylist or they admit that they're a stylist, then maybe you would talk to them differently. But I am huge on talking to everyone. Like at the grocery store, the person behind me could be a stylist. I've met moms at the park, just moms at the park, talking to them for an hour. And then it comes up that, oh, they're a stylist. I didn't say like, oh my gosh, you could be a millionaire with me. I just say, wow, I didn't realize you were a stylist. You know, I've got this opportunity, which I would offer to a stylist, a vet, a stay-at-home mom, or a man. And you have to remember that each person you're talking to, like Tammy said earlier, there's no perfect script for anyone. Speak to them like they're humans, because they are humans. And you don't know, even if they're this super successful stylist on Instagram or Facebook, and you're like, wow, she is gonna be my gold ticket. Guess what? She might sign up with you and not do anything, because she's a human, just like anyone else. All of us on here, the panel, the people who signed into this call, we're all people, okay? One of us might turn into a $10 million earner. One of us might not make $1 with the company. But when you just look at our faces right now, who's who? Do you know what any of our current day life is? Do you know what our life was? Stephanie's been in 6 years. So what was our life 7 years ago? If you cannot tell who everyone is, or you look at the screen, the grid, who are you going to approach? Which person are you going to approach, and why are you going to approach them? That's the biggest thing, is remember that we are all humans. Nobody knew that Stephanie was going to come in and build this amazing team of women. Nobody knew this boy mom who didn't even know what the heck leave-in conditioner was going to come in and still be here 3 years later. I'm just a human, and Stephanie was just a human. And that's what you have to do. You have to talk to humans. So when you start targeting a hairstylist, you tend to get rude and greedy, and you think you may know more than them because you see these amazing stylists at the top of Monat and think, hey, you could be that, which they could. And I sure hope they turn into that. But you have to remember that they have not seen the Monat model, or maybe they have a bad taste or they've read bad things. You have to approach them just like you would approach anyone else, showing them the basics, showing them your story, connecting them with someone else that has a similar life as them, maybe like a hairstylist. And then when they say, you're an accountant, you don't know what you're talking about, you say, you're right. You know what? I actually have all this back, resources in my back office, or I've got this stylist on my team that can help you. She helps me do this stuff too. But it's really nice that this is an opportunity for everyone. Maybe a stay-at-home mom that could benefit from this. So just remember that they're humans too, and you have to be careful, because I think people get really rude when you talk to stylists, and you just got to be careful with that. So that's what I wanted to say.
Great ad. And I think people get really hopeful, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to sign this stylist. They have, they're a salon owner, they've got 10 chairs, and this is going to be huge. And then they may never do anything. You may never hear from them. They may ghost you. They may sign up and have big hopes and dreams, and then somebody says, oh, that's the stuff that makes your hair fall out. You never hear from them again. So it's super important to, not put all your eggs in one basket, but like Amy said, treat them like humans. Like they have just as much potential and opportunity as you and I, but they may not take advantage of that. So, and Amy has touched on this a couple times, and so I feel like it's definitely worth repeating, but she's talked a lot about connector calls and third-party validation. You guys, I've been doing this 6 years. I can talk it forwards and backwards in my sleep, but I still get people on connector calls because it is that third-party validation. I'm not the expert. I don't want to be the expert. I don't pretend to be the expert. People don't want to come to this business and have to be an expert. They want to know that they can do it too. And if I'm the expert all the time, then they're going to be afraid that they have to be the expert. So make sure that you're getting people on those connector calls. Okay, let's see. I thought there was another question in here.
There was one by Amanda that said, how do you handle / go about connecting with VIPs who have ghosted you or stopped responding? And I don't mind taking that if if you want.
Yeah, go for it, please.
Okay, so Tara had told us a long time ago, first off, you need to be talking to so many people you cannot remember who has not responded to you. And that didn't really hit me until I really did start talking to enough people to not really remember who hadn't responded. But then secondly, going back and extending on what Amy just said, if they've been ghosting you and you've only been reaching out about money, reach out about life. Just say, hey, I just wanted to check in on you, see how you're doing, or look at their page, like Becky said, and see what's been going on, comment on some of their pictures, let them know you're thinking of them and outside of just money, because we are all guilty of like getting them on our brain and like just going back and going back and going back. And then they feel like you want a sell rather than you're offering them something that's going to benefit them. So you need to remember that they're your friend, or if you don't know them, then you need to warm up your relationship to where they feel comfortable enough to respond to you, or at least I think so.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think too, Amanda, another tip or something that I do is just really knowing, just like your market partners, like know why they got on the products, know what their hair goals are, so that whenever you're reaching out to them, you can say, hey, I just wanted to check in. I haven't heard from you. I know that you started the products because you were struggling with postpartum hair loss. Do you still have that goal? And then I say something like, and I even say this to prospects, like, I want to be here to support you, but I also don't want to harass you. So if this is something that, well, actually, I'll tell you what I say, because I don't want to mess it up, because it's actually pretty good. And I get a pretty good response too. Let me search my notes. I just say, well, this is really for prospects though, not for VIPs. But I just say, hey, Lexi, I know you were interested in the products to help with your postpartum hair loss. So I wanted to circle back with you about Monate. I know you didn't have an opportunity to place your order yet. So I wanted to check back because we're having an amazing sale through tomorrow. Or maybe you've changed your mind. And if you have, not a problem, please just let me know. I will take you off my follow-up list because I never want anyone to feel like I'm harassing them. I look forward to hearing from you. So you've kind of taken you're when nobody wants to be taken off your list, or sometimes they do, because I'm like, yes, please take me off your list and leave me alone. But you could also kind of take that verbiage and tweak it a little bit for that VIP, because the thing about the VIPs is they're our customers, and we want to make sure that we are providing a service and a value that they signed up for, right? Because they're buying products from us. So you can take that verbiage and kind of spin it a little bit. Did anybody want to add anything?
One of the things that I did, started doing since the wellness came out, I had a bunch of VIPs roll up to me that I didn't know. And when I started looking at their order history and realized they hadn't ordered in, 6 months to a year, I would reach out to them, to introduce myself to them because they don't know me, and give them my contact information. But obviously, if they haven't ordered in that long, they might not know that we have a wellness line or even a skin care line for that matter. But I would reach out to them and share that information with them, offer to send them my Monate quiz. And I got a few that had said, I didn't even know y'all had a wellness line. So sometimes they don't know because their person probably never took care of them in the first place and kept them, in the know about everything. But I've also done that with some of my own VIPs that just haven't ordered in a while, that turned their FlexShip off. It's just offering different products from different lines. I even had a lady say, oh, tell me more. Like, she didn't want the hair care anymore, but she was totally interested in the sleep drops and the energy. She said, I would love for you to send me information about that. And then she asked if that could be added on to her FlexShip instead of the hair care. So I think sometimes if we just try to reach out and offer them something different, that would help too.
Yeah, that's great. And I think too, especially now that we have the wellness line, even though there are VIP customers, they still may not know, even if you've reached out. I mean, people are busy and they see stuff and then they move on, or maybe they don't even know what wellness means. So that's great. Did anybody want to add anything?
Can I add something?
Please.
So on the Power Hour today with Stephanie as the host, I took a couple days off because I was sick And I was like, gosh, I can't wait. I've got so much to do. And you know what she had us do? For 30 minutes, she had us reach out to people, no Monat, no sales, no follow-ups, just sending love bombs, checking in on people, making sure they're doing okay. And at first, not gonna lie, I was like, gosh, I don't have time for this. I have work to do. And I said, Amy, you are changing things. Okay. So I have my business. I'm proud of my business, but I want new. I need to grow and I need to get uncomfortable. And this is something that I told myself in 2021. I've had growth in 2020, but now it's time to get uncomfortable. It's time to do things that I don't normally do. Just getting on the phone with people, listening to what leaders say, even if I roll my eyes and stick my tongue at her like I kind of did today, even though I love her. And I spent the 30 minutes sending messages to random people. So what I did, and you can do this with your VIPs. Okay. So what you just said with all those ones that ghosted you, following up with nothing, just, hey, Stephanie, haven't heard from you in a while. I saw your daughter had a birthday. How are you doing? That's it. And then don't turn it into a sale. Don't like let her respond and be like, hey, you haven't ordered in 8 months. Let it be. But what I did was I checked my memories on Facebook. That's all my posts from a year ago. I literally went through each post and looked at who liked it, who loved it, who commented, and I just reached out. And I said, hey, Stephanie, I came across a super old post from last year, and some of them I hadn't talked to since last year. And I just said, I know things are so hard right now, and it's very unsure, but I want you to know that I was thinking of you. I hope 2020 was okay for you. I'm really excited for 2021. If you need to talk or anything, I'm happy to chat with you. Thank you for being a part of my life and being part of my network. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Okay. Those are Amy's words with a little fluff, a little uncomfortable, because I'm not typically like that. If you've heard any of my trainings, I'll tell you all the time, I don't care about your dog. I have a dog. I just don't want to talk about your dog. So I'm trying to get uncomfortable and ask people about their dogs. And with that comes back to what I said earlier. We're all humans. If you aren't feeling good, someone else isn't feeling good. If you're sad, someone else is sad. If you're anxious, someone else is anxious. If you're sad, mad, happy, glad, someone else is feeling that way. So don't reach out to someone and be like, I'm having a crappy day. I hope you're having a crappy day too. No, make them make you happy, because when you fill up their cup, truly you fill up your own cup. I left that call not rolling my eyes at Stephanie anymore, not wanting to stick my tongue out at her, not sweating. I felt so good because I spread good into all those people's lives. And it literally was pretty much a copy paste message. So I just put the first one and then I personalized it. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Candace. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Becky. And I did that for all of them. I didn't go to their and spend all this time in their thing. I just filled their cup. So you can do that with VIPs, with market partners, with friends, anyone. People need those, Ryan calls them love bombs. People need those love bombs. And I challenged myself on my vision board to do 100. And before today, it's been almost 2 months, I did 10 because love bombs aren't my thing. So think of that too. If people are ghosting you, change it to a love bomb. And then don't turn it to the business. Just let it be. So that's my input. Sorry.
Yeah, I love that. And you guys, if you missed that, that was like gold. You could have shared that on our power hour because that's gold, Amy. She said that she went and looked at her memories from last year, and those are the people that she messaged today. And so I love that because that's genius, because you know how Facebook is constantly changing the algorithms. So I know if I go and look at my memories from a year ago today, there probably are people that I haven't connected with or seen, or that we're still Facebook friends or whatever. So I'm actually going to do that tonight as well. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, I think I saw one other question, and it was from Emma, our sweet little Emma Jordan, who got her tongue cut off. I'm just kidding. If y'all haven't seen Tammy Jordan's Facebook post, you got to go watch it because it's so funny. Emma was the star after she had her teeth removed. Yeah. But does anybody have anyone on your team like 18 to 20-year-olds? Because she would love to connect She's building a team of the younger generation, right? And they're different than us. They communicate different than us. So just getting her some support in that way would be amazing.
Hi there. This is Renee. I'm in Boston, Mass, and I roll up to Shalee. We have a couple girls that are younger, but I think like maybe in early 20s. I was gonna message Emma privately, but I'm sure her mom could like easily connect with Shalee and maybe get that to go. Her last name is Zavala. It's Zavala. So I think she's a younger girl, but I think like early 20s.
That's good to know. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. I actually, Shalee and I were texting today, so I'll reach out to her and ask her and get them connected. So
Could we put that like a post with that in Team Believe so that when other people have younger people join, they know who to reach out to?
yeah, I think that's a great idea. And that can just be like an ongoing post that people can go
Add
to. Yeah, I love that. I mean, because most of them aren't even on Facebook, right? Because that's old people platform. Not that y'all are old. I'm old.
Then we need an old ladies club because I
I'm
turned
calling
50
myself
this year. Come on.
I'm not calling y'all old, I promise. I'm talking about me. So if anybody gets offended easily, too bad. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, you guys, this was amazing. I loved it. We had some really great questions. We had a lot of great feedback. And like I said, these are people that have been where you're at. We've been at the top. We are, peaks and valleys and all the things. And so this is how we grow together, is by supporting one another and just sharing the things that have worked for us, the things that don't necessarily work for us. And so I really appreciate you guys hopping on. Amy, would you close us out?
Yep. So just piggybacking on what Stephanie said, guys, you showed up tonight, and whether you asked a question or you had one of your questions answered, you have to understand that we were all market partners, day one, market partners one day. We all had questions. There are no stupid questions. There are no silly questions. Do not spend hours researching something if you think it's dumb. I spent so much time on YouTube trying to figure out what a blowout was because I thought that Pauly D was the only one who did that. I didn't know females did it. I literally knew nothing about hair care, which means I knew nothing about anything, but I had a dream and I had a vision and I had a goal. And if I didn't put myself on YouTube, because I was too embarrassed to say, what the heck is blowout cream? I never would have known what to do. And I probably would have quit because I got a box of products that I didn't know how to use. So I figured it out. And then the back office came around and they've got all these resources for us. So I tell my team all the time, please ask a question if you have it, because if you don't ask, you're likely to quit. So I have a quote and it says, if people are doubting how far you can go, go so far that you can't hear them anymore. And with that, I want you guys to know that we all have goals and dreams and visions and all of that. Whether you have a vision board or you just have this plan for 2021, if you have told someone that, whether it's your best friend, your sister, your husband, parents, whatever, and they look at you, so I'm just going to explain one. So one of mine, let's say I want to be a millionaire. If I tell that to 5 people, my 5 close people, sisters, parents, aunts, friends, all that, you know what they're going to look at me and do? You're going to be a millionaire? Those aren't my people, okay? If I put that in Team Believe right now, I am going to be a millionaire. Do you know the love and comments that are going to come from that? Guys, do not let other people crush your dreams. They are dream crushers. They're not dreamers. So the people that are on this call, the people that are in Team Believe, the people that are on your team, below you, above you, side to you, all of that, in Monat, they are dream pushers, okay? If you want to be a millionaire, go be a millionaire. Find people who are going to push you towards your dreams. Do not tell your mom if she rolls her eyes when you tell her you want to be a millionaire. I don't tell my mom those things because she's a dream crusher. So just because you think, just like hairstylists, just because you think they're going to be your golden ticket, your family, best friends, sisters, neighbors, all those people, they might not be your golden ticket, and that's okay. But know who you can tell things to and who you can't. Maybe say, I'm going to make $100 this month. If they roll their eyes, nope. Find that person that you tell you're going to make $100 this month. They say, awesome, way to go. I'm so proud of you. And then test it out for 500, 1,000. Find those people. And if you have nobody in your corner, you signed up today on the Monat website with no upline, no friends, nobody, come to Team Believe. Put your goals in there. And I really encourage you guys to do that. We can start a goal thread or a dream thread or whatever. And you go there when you are having a rough day and know that you're not alone in this business, that we all have goals, even if it is $100 or it's $1 million or $10 million. Know that you're not alone and you have an entire team that is cheering you on. Okay. So that is how I am choosing to close this out. Ask questions in the group. There are tons of people that are willing to help you. Put your dreams out there. But most importantly, pat yourself on the back because you showed up today, literally right now. Pat yourself on the back. And then after we hang up this call, I want you to think of your dream, a big, scary dream that you might not have told anyone because you're embarrassed or you think it's silly or you don't think you're worth it. You are worth it. So say that dream out loud to yourself in the mirror, write it on a Post-it note, put it in the team page, tell your sponsor or your friend, whatever, but put it out there because you deserve everything you want. And putting it out there is going to bring it to you. So that is my closeout.
Solid gold, Amy. Thank you all so much. Thank you, leaders, for sharing your wisdom. Thank you guys for hopping on, and we will see you guys next Monday. Good night.